Speaking to the bill.
The gentleman from Fairfax, Mr. Surovell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, before I start, I just want to note that last week, PolitiFact noted that in one of my floor speeches I was mostly true and correct, so you all need to listen to me. All of it. Mr. Speaker, it's been a rough year in Hollywood. For those of us there, me and E.T. brought him back. He's been living in my desk for the last 2 years since we last debated this. He's got his little bumper sticker, says Virginia is for tax credits. Because he's had a rough year too. Mr. Speaker, Justin Bieber just got arrested. Movie revenue is only going to go up by 1%. It set a record this year, but only by 1%. And they're saying that next year it's going to be as good because we're relying on too many sequels. And we just can't make as many good movies as we used to. So I guess us in Hollywood need to come and get some more government money to help us make our movies. And Mr. Speaker, I'm going to put E.T. right here. He can watch. Now, Mr. Speaker, this body considered a lot of tax credits this year. The ones we didn't pass, among others. HB 1151 for low-income taxpayers, 295 for homes for disabled people. We rejected tax credits for small businesses that hire graduates of Virginia colleges. We passed by, I guess, a tax credit for folks in military service. A lot of tax credits we could have passed. This is one of the few that we elected to pass. These tax credits about movie production, Mr. Speaker, have been looked at in other jurisdictions. I was happy to note in NCSL had an article this past year where they noted that both left-wing and right-wing think tanks have looked upon these kinds of programs and said they don't work. According to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, they concluded that state film subsidies are a wasteful, ineffective, and unfair instrument of economic development. The jobs they provide in-state residents tend to be spotty, part-time, and relatively low-paying work, and the revenue that firms generate falls short of the cost, the tax breaks, and subsidies that their states dole out. Currently, the report goes on to say that median, it's hard to read in these sunglasses, median state incentive is worth 25 cents for every dollar of production expense, considerably higher than the standard tax credits in many states. And Mr. Speaker, there's also been other states around the country that are dialing these things back. In Iowa, they suspended their program in 2009 when they found widespread misuse of their program. In Massachusetts, they shut them down after somebody was found to be defrauding taxpayers using these credits. And in Michigan, taxpayers got stuck with some huge bond payments for a movie production studio with a $20 million program they tried to encourage there. Now, Mr. Speaker, I would ask the body, these tax credits are basically dollar for dollar, right? Well, what we're doing is basically writing a check from the taxpayers to these movie producers. What would $5 million buy? It would buy 125 ID waivers. It would get 100 new teachers around the Commonwealth. It would do 50 miles of paved road, 90 hours of care back to our respite caregivers. It would cover the tuition for 200 Virginians at UVA, no cost to them for 4 years. When we think about what we used them for, we gave $4 million last year, folks, $4 million to Steven Spielberg. Forbes says his net worth is $3 billion. $3 billion. Now, Mr. Speaker, I would say that if we're going to be doing tax credits, if we're going to choose to do them, we should be giving tax credits to programs, to Virginia businesses that develop good, long-term, well-paying jobs in this Commonwealth, not things that are going to fund things like dry cleaners, lumber, and hotel stays, temporary jobs. We're going to take precious taxpayer dollars and invest it. We have lots of parts of the state that need the help. South Side, Southwest have huge unemployment. We should not be using our taxpayer dollars to fund Hollywood.